Okay, and I could bring that thing closer to me. People. I don't know. You might like being this close to me. I don't know. It's a different perspective. So just like right there. Guess you can still see me. It's a different perspective, isn't it? Okay, this is the song. I don't know if you can see this. I'm Alive. It was by Electric Light Orchestra. And that's the album cover, and I remember getting the album cover. It was like a two. It was either it was a record, 2 record set or something like that. And then on the inside, it had all these pictures from the movie, and so it kind of gave you a feeling for the kind of movie you would expect to see, which wasn't out yet when the album came out. Got the album at a Target. We went to Target, and the album was in the record department, and I got it, and I was just like, wow, this is going to be some real shit here. The thing that was really kind of interesting about the album is that it was embossed, and so it was not only the images you see there, but it was embossed with a kind of an Art Deco feel to it, to make it really stand apart from stuff of the time. It was going to be a futuristic like musical with roller skating and whole bunches of stuff, be something that was multifaceted. And it had a great effect on me. It was very inspirational, musical, it was to me what Star Wars was to other people. And though, I mean, to me it was the dancing, the music, the romance, the magic, and all that stuff, especially when this song comes in, and all the glowing effects, which was a kind of a backlit animation technique. It was the same glowing effect that influenced Tron. And, it was backlit animation is what it's called. And that had... and Tron came out like a little bit after this. So they're kind of... That idea of having glowing neon like animated content was very futuristic looking, and set these movies apart because they didn't look like anything, any other kind of movies of the time. And I think the movie that really brought it in was, Star Wars was one, but the ones that really influenced the use of this neon stuff was the opening to Superman. And so about the time that Close Encounters and, Jaws and Star Wars and all these big movies with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas came about, they were bringing in new techniques for filming movies that were going to make the movies feel more real than they had been, more real and fantastic than stuff of the past. And however, Metropolis was hugely inspirational, and it was probably the reason why Xanadu has a Art Deco feel to it, is because really all you could really point to before the 80s was Metropolis, the effect that old silent era film had on artists for decades, because it was fairly futuristic in a way. It had some fairly futuristic style sequences in it. I'd have to think long about if anything else could come close to the kind of effects that were in that movie. It was fairly futuristic in style. Anyhow, don't want to bore you to death. We're going to sing this song. And so the muses, the ladies who are the sisters of Kira, which is Olivia Newton-John's, and you can see how it'd also be attractive because it sounds like my name, Kieran. So Kira was her name, and she had all these sisters, and they were really portrayed on a mural on a wall somewhere in Los Angeles, down by the beach. And when this music plays, they all come alive, which is what the song is called. I'm Alive. So this song is sung by Jeff Lynne of ELO. I'm alive and the world shines for me today. I'm alive, suddenly I am here today. Seems like forever and a day. Thought I could never feel this way. Is this really me? I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. And the dawn breaks across the sky. I'm alive. And the sun rises up so high. Lost in the world. Far away, never another word till today. But what can I say? I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Suddenly came sun from the night. Suddenly I was born into light. How can it be real? I'm alive. I'm alive. Alive. I'm alive. This I changed the key. I'm alive. And the world shines for me today. I'm alive. Suddenly I am here today. Seems like forever and a day. Thought I could never feel this way. Is it really me? I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh, you know. But the better part of that song is the movie, and you would want to see the movie, and then you would understand how the song is supposed to support that scene. Because by itself, it's not really as fantastic. My iPad's reminding me that I'm running out of battery juice on it, but not on the camera. The camera's hooked up to the power outlet. Let's put you back over here. Put you over here. Alright. Up there on the Macintosh. You know, I forgot to clean the lenses on this thing. Ah! These are not condoms. These are wipes. Lens wipes. That's how you tell a nerd from somebody who's not. And no, I'm just kidding. This under here. Try to get this thing level. It actually doesn't even matter because it's going to automatically level itself anyhow. Oh, that's the LG emblem. I was wondering if that was some special serial number or something. It's this is my Blu-ray player. When I got my PS4, it had a Blu-ray in it, but get this, you can't use the Blu-ray player in the PS4 to play Blu-rays. Now you understand how cheap ass Sony is. There probably was a reason for that. I don't know. It probably had something to do with the capacity to duplicate Blu-rays, and that you could probably change the firmware inside the PS4 to duplicate the Blu-rays because it was using them as a source of data rather than plain video content, and to keep it from and to play Blu-rays probably requires some sort of special decoder or something. Anyhow, to keep people from duplicating Blu-rays, and movie business never is gonna. The movie and music business is never going to move past the fact that everybody has access to more content now, more sources of content, more controllable content, more just giving people the capacity, giving people the ability to choose what source of entertainment they can have. But back in the 70s, the only choice you had were LP records, tapes, films, but not video, because video came around in the 80s. And films usually resulted in just being home movies. There were or art films, but not the kind of films that you identify with, like being able to watch a movie. When videotape recorders came around in the 80s, it gave people the capacity. It really brought in the cinema into the home, so that people could actually see the movies that they saw in the cinema. And so I'm sure it had a profound effect, a negative profound effect on the film industry, the theaters, because the theaters were going to have to come up with something more to drag people in from their homes to come to and that's always been the problem ever since television came about. Color television came around, or I guess even black and white television, was that the theaters had to attract the audiences with something, you know. And when you're sitting back as far as you do from your TV set, your brain somehow is able to fill up the space with what you see on that little postage stamp of a screen. Your brain somehow permits you to fill the space with the screen, even though it can't possibly fill the image space. Your brain identifies identifies the stuff in the square and everything else goes away. You know that effect. And it just seems to be the case that it doesn't matter what size the screen is, whether it's on an iPad or a 4K television, the experience tends to be the same. And I've got a VR headset and I can watch movies as if they're gigantic, you know, as if I'm just this flea on the side of a gigantic silver screen. You can see movies like that in VR, and because it can track your movements, it can present you content that's bigger than life, even though all it is a screen on your head. It's tracking your environment. It can present to you content of any size. It can make you any size. It can make you really small or really large. And that's the power of VR, is that you can have an experience of going to a theater without going to a theater. Now the theaters are going to have a very hard time attracting those VR headsets. The only thing that really attracts you to a theater in such a case is that you're bringing more people, more of your friends to it, that it's a social experience. But you can still do that in VR without paying much of a price for it. And I highly recommend it, because the fact is it gives you an experience that you can manipulate, that is personal and adjustable to your tastes. And I've seen how many places in the world can you go and things are available to you to adjust to your taste. And that's what VR can do, is it can create architectural places that cater to your taste on a whim than in reality, where the architecture and the art in the space may inspire you. In the long term, more of the places we go to will not be locations, but will be a location within inside of a computer. So anyhow, stop this video.